Hello and welcome to Ultimate Fighting Chat. Today we're going to discuss the past weeks or the previous 7 days fight announcements for UFC. I'm sure there's going to be ones happening all the time. Can't fit them all in, but these are the ones we've got. So you ready?
Why don't you do what the dates starting from and going to what week?
Okay, it's week commencing 7th of March to the 14th of March then.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, week commencing 7th of March. The 7th of March fight announcements for UFC. So I'll do them in date order of when the card is happening, because I don't know when they were announced, do I? So the first one I've got is Nathaniel Wood versus Vince Morales, and that's been added to UFC London, which is the 19th of March, which is this weekend. Is that this weekend coming? It is this weekend coming. Any comments? I think he was a replacement, this Nathaniel Wood. I don't think he was the original.
No, not surely Nathaniel Wood wasn't a replacement.
I think he was.
British fighter on British card.
Yeah, no, what I mean is the replacement to fight Morales. I'm sure Morales had a different opponent. I can't remember, but I think so.
All right. Well.
All right.
All right. Well, if that's what you reckon, that's what you reckon.
Is it all? What, am I wrong? Am I? You think it's always been that? Is it? He might have always been on the card, but I don't know. He was always fighting Vince Morales.
No, so Nathaniel Wood was supposed to face Shalinian, the bloke who was
see?
on.
Shalinian's out.
Yeah. He was,
and maybe Morales is in then. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Morales was the replacement. That's what I mean. It's not likely going to be Nathaniel Wood as a late replacement, because obviously he's a hometown fighter. And probably got, I'm not going to say a favourable matchup, but probably they like to send the home fans home happy. I remember I went to one of the events. Who was it? I think it was Bisping v Akiyama. It was I think I'm told it was the one where Dan Hardy got banged out by Carlos Condit. It was the race to the left hook, and Dan Hardy lost.
You mean the one where he said he'd be ready? That one?
Yeah, that's right. The one where Dan Hardy thought he was going to be ready, but he didn't prepare for the left hook, and he got banged out. I remember that event because basically all the hometown fighters lost, and it was down to Bisping against Setsuyama, I think it was, and Bisping done his usual, got wobbled in the first round. And it was just like, oh, bloody hell, here we go. Everyone's going to be going home miserable because we've just watched like 10 British guys get their teeth smashed out. And now Bisping's getting done and all. But luckily, he sort of managed to claw it back, and he got the decision win. Just going to have here you go. So you had Fabio Maldonado. Do you remember him? The tubby Brazilian boxer.
Yeah.
He knocked out James McSweeney. So headlock.
This is on that London card you went to, was it?
This is the London card I went to. Yeah, the one where I'm saying like everybody was just miserable. Probably ain't as bad as I thought looking at it now. But anyway, Maldonado beat McSweeney. Spencer Fisher, blimey, beat Kurt Warburton.
He was all right, Spencer Fisher. Gritty.
He was decent, yeah. But obviously Kurt Warburton was the British fighter. He lost. Paul Sass. He did win by a triangle.
Oh, the Sass angle bloke.
Yeah, or a Sass angle, yeah. So Paul Sass, he was a hometown fighter. He won. Rob Broughton, he won, and he's a British fighter. So a couple of wins. Gustafsson beat Cyril Diabate. Cyril Diabate, he's French. Gustafsson, Swedish. So a little bit of a score draw there. But on the main card, Claude Patrick, I think he was Canadian. He beat James Wilkes.
The rugby bloke.
Czech Congo beat Travis Brown. Mike Pyle then beat John Hathaway. Carlos Condit then knocked out Dan Hardy. So you can see that there was a few British wins, but sort of the bigger names at the time, Dan Hardy, John Hathaway, James Wilkes was just coming off the Ultimate Fighter and stuff. So sort of the bigger names all got done. And then, like I say, Bisping went out there, got rocked in the first round by Setsuyama, and it was like, oh, geez. You know what the English are like if they don't get their way? You know what I mean? Chairs get thrown through kebab shop windows and all that sort of stuff. So, but Bisping saved the card.
It's disappeared. Now you're back. Oh, that's a good shot. Right. Okay.
This is the problem, innit, with this. I've just got nothing that works in my house. Nothing. Nothing works.
It doesn't matter. You're in there, so that's all that matters. So that's the first fight. We'll do the next one.
Well, we
got nothing else to say about that one, have you?
I was saying for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I could hear it all. Yeah, you could hear it. It was just that our brilliant faces weren't on it, so probably better. But I could hear it all. Yeah, you were saying wicked stuff about all the Ingers that got smashed out, apart from Bizzers. I could hear it all. Yeah, I could hear it all. Right. So the next fight.
Yeah, go on. In.
This is also for UFC London. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I think Gunnar Nelson came in as a late replacement, but I think it's true this time. I don't think it was. How do you pronounce his name, please? Takashi Sato or Sato? Sato, right?
Sato, I would have thought.
Sato. All right, Sato. Right.
Sato.
So this is also being added to the UFC London card this weekend. Gunnar Nelson, ain't seen him for ages. Brilliant.
Yeah, not had a fight for about 2.5 years.
Really? Oh, blimey!
Yeah,
September
2019 was the September 2019.
September 2019, good one.
Yeah, that was 2019. That was his last fight. So obviously, about 2.5 years. Lost to Gilbert Burns, and then before that, he lost to Leon Edwards. So he's coming off a little 2-fight skid.
But he's got done by the big uns. These are the blokes that are all title contenders now, aren't they?
Exactly.
So,
yes, we got two. Well, I'm thinking maybe even those guys are currently ranked number 1 and number 2, right? Edwards number 1, Burns number 2. So there's no real shame in it. But he beat Cowboy Oliveira before that. Lost to Ponzinibbio.
Yeah, but Oliveira's getting done by everyone. He
is now, yeah, but
he's brilliant. I still think he's brilliant.
He's trading wins and losses a little bit, Gunnar Nelson, and has done for sort of the last, I don't know, but if you look at it from back to October 2014, before that he was on a real good, where he was basically unbeaten, but then he lost to Rick Story, beat Brandon Thatch, lost to Damian Meyer, beat Tumanov, beat Joban, lost to Ponzinibbio, beat Oliveira, lost to Edwards, lost to Burns. So he's kind of been trading wins and losses for about the last 8 years or 7 years. Yeah. So, but he's still brilliant. Can't really say whether he's, I can't say I really know much about Sato to really go, I fancy one or the other. So he's only got losses against Bilal Muhammad and Baeza in the UFC. Beating Ben Saunders, one of your mates, Killer B.
Brilliant.
But yeah, he's got 16 wins in 20 fights, so I imagine he can handle himself. But it'd be nice to see Gunnar Nelson get back on the winning trail.
We would.
Unless, of course, you will of Takashi Sato, in which case you want the opposite.
Yeah, but aren't we doing, the UFC London European type card and, Gunnar Nelson's... What's he, an Iceland bloke, is he?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, look, I want to know, I want to just find out now, because you don't know what's coming. I do. And let's just see if you've got as much to say about the next fight announcement.
Well, I reckon it's going to be foot rot.
How do you know it's going to be foot rot? It just stop cheating. It's crap that, because that was a surprise. Anyway, Jennifer Meyer versus Manon Foot Rot. That's been added to UFC Columbus for the 26th of March. So you can see now we're on the next date. Exciting stuff. It wasn't this one. Weren't Foot Rot meant to be on one of the cards recently? And so obviously they've made room for her, got squeezed her in on another one. You know what I mean? Rescheduled the excitement.
Yeah, I haven't really got too much to say about this.
Yeah, I think given your face and what you just said there, I think it's just as well that we just move on to the next one. We can't help it. It's an announcement, and we're not going to not announce it. We're still going to announce it regardless. All right, well, we'll move straight on to the next one then. David Onama versus Nate Landwehr, and that is for UFC Columbus. Same card, 26th of March.
Any called the A train or something, Nate Landwehr?
He's got the train written on his chest on that shot.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, right, well, there you go then. So there's a little bit of a...
nice tattoo. It's good.
I seem to remember last time he fought. He had a really good fight against that Ludovic Klein, didn't he? I think he pulled it out of the fire. You know, it's one of those where afterwards he was all pumped and all that because it was a real good smash.
Yeah, that does ring a bell as it goes. Yeah, Landwehr.
Yeah, but David Onama. David Onama. Go on, remind me. I've got a feeling
I'm just announcing the fights. I mean, I've got enough to say about either of them, really. I'm just letting you know that UFC Columbus have, you know what I mean, 26th of March, Onama versus Landwehr. I mean, I'm happy to move on.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, no, I remember Onama. He had a really good fight against Benitez recently. It was a fight where at the start I actually thought, hey, you know what? I think Benitez is going to do him. But he ended up banging him out in the first round. Yeah, pretty good. Actually, you know what? I think this will be quite a good fight. I'm not saying I'm like a massive fan of either guys because I just had to look him up on Wikipedia for a start. But
no matter, there's hundreds of fighters, isn't there? It's hundreds, and we watch hundreds of fights. It's difficult.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, you should have said who you think is going to win each of these smashes. But I think, right, Wood.
I have to mix it up. I'm going Morales.
Right, definitely getting that wrong next. Gunnar.
I'm going 2 years out. Sato. Well,
I've said it. I said Gunnar straight away.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear that. Maybe your mic stopped working again. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
sorry, mate. Okay. Okay. Foot rot.
The fans.
Have you said who's going to win yet?
I said the fans.
The fans. Oh! Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'll go.
The real winner here is the fans. Yeah, good point.
I'll go for Fiorot.
Okay.
Fiorot.
And this is one we got up to.
You know what? This is I'm going to say a real 50-50 because I'm going to say I think Onama is a little bit tidier, but I think Landwehr has that real, I'll do the classic. He's got a bit of a dog, a bit of dog in him, but I'm still going for Onama.
All right. Well, then I'm going to do Landwehr grind out version then. Mix it up. All right. All right. So we can move on to the next fight. Yeah. A big one for you. A big one, right? Gilbert Burns. Good new one. Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. UFC 273, 9th of April. Not long to wait. Brilliant.
Yeah, amazing one is the truth. I'll be honest with you. For me, I guess for most people, it's because of Chimaev, right? Everyone wants to see, is this guy the new sort of monster who's going to take over? Or is it all just a hype job and good timing? We've had it before, say, with Johnny Walker, right? He burst onto the scene. He had 2 crushing, devastating-looking knockouts early on or straight away. Yeah. He looks the part, because he's obviously massive, full stop, long, lean, explosive. I remember thinking, wow, this Johnny Walker, he's gonna be the guy to smash out John Jones and stuff like that. That's right. That was the impression I had. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, he's kind of, I don't want to say been exposed, but he's kind of found his level a bit more, let's say, and he definitely wasn't the guy to the successor to the division, let's put it like that. And Chimaev, he's got something about him, right? It's not just the fact that he's winning in devastating fashion. He definitely has an aura about him. The fact that he was confident enough to pick up the leech, Jing Lang, who is really good, and, was doing chats, just dragged him over to Dana White, slammed him down on the mat. To me, that showed, I'm not worried about my gas tank. I'm not worried about this guy getting back up off his back. I'm not worried that I'm not going to submit. To me, he was just like, this guy's finished now. I've got him in the air. He's going to get slammed on the floor and battered. Now, against a couple of his earlier opponents, you can kind of go, well, anyone can give it the large against lower ranked fighters. Was it, John Phillips and people like that? I think, people who maybe not known for their grappling. But you know what? Jing Lang is a really good young up and coming fighter. and he
I think the question's been answered with the leech. Honestly, I do. Once he'd done the leech, I went, "Nah, this is proper."
Yeah, proper. Well, that's what I mean. I do agree that he's definitely not hype, but to me, it's just another. You know, when McGregor was coming up, and he had a couple of these fights, and there was certain tests that you think we still got to get through that. He's still got to get through a wrestler in Mendes. We still got to do this, still got to do that. And I guess with Chimaev, you're still sitting there going, well, he has to get taken into round 2, or he needs to be cracked with a hard shot and see how he responds to that. Does he kind of become, really sort of a little bit shy, or is he not bothered? Is he just an animal?
Yeah, what happens when he sees blood? Does he do a BJ pen and lick it off his gloves?
Exactly.
Or does he go, I can't handle this or whatever? You're right. We haven't seen what he's like in deep waters. We ain't seen it. He ain't been tested. Now, maybe that's right. Exactly. There's a reason for it. Yeah.
So it's always, let's be honest, just looking at him and the impression you get of him, he doesn't strike me as a kind of guy that if he gets hit in the face is all of a sudden going to turn into a pacifist and go, I want out of here. He really doesn't strike me as being that kind of a fella. But you have to say, if he does Burns, I know people could say, well, he's still got to get through Covington to get the title shot. Why? What if Covington beat him? You can do Covington Usman 3 straight away. Forget it. As far as I'm concerned, if he beats Burns, stick him in there with Usman. I'd be interested in that fight massively. I'd love it. In fact, just for that reason alone, I'd like Chimaev to win this fight. Even though I don't particularly have a preference of either the fighter, personally, I'd rather Chimaev win this because I kind of want him to be this monster that he's made out to be.
Well, it's more interesting, more exciting to see, a fresh bloke up against Usman. Otherwise, you've got Covington, Masvidal, who's obviously not going to get it because he's just got done by Covington, Burns, who's got done by him recently. So, you're not going to have no Wonder Boys or anything. So, like you said, you just want to see what's going on.
Leon Edwards is the only one, isn't it? Right? Course, so you can have Leon Edwards, provided he gets through Leon Edwards. It'd be nice to have someone else waiting in the wings rather than sitting there going, that's what we can do, guys. Covington 3, Burns 2.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, then they don't get my juices flowing. Whereas Chimaev, especially if he dismantles Burns, I mean, I'd hate to be Edwards in that scenario, but if Chimaev dismantled Burns, I mean, if I was Dana White, I'll be sitting there, bright pink, going, I think I need to give this straight away to Chimaev.
Well, why not? Like you say, what's the hold up here? The hold up is him getting up there, and he's getting up there. I do think there's something to be said for having to get through the number 2, Covington, and this, that, and the other. There is something to be said for it, but why is Covington going to want to do that? Why would he want to do that?
But also, you've got to remember as well is, let's say he does do Covington and he does Burns, but then he fights Usman and he loses. You then create a problem for Chimaev's next fight. So you go, well, he's done number 2, he's done number 1, he's done number 3. And if he was to beat Usman, you've also given yourself a problem because it's like, well, he's already beaten number 1, number 2, number 3. So who's his first title defense going to be against? Probably McGregor, right? So you kind of create yourself a problem anyway. So you always want these matchups to be a little bit, you always want a little bit of what would happen here, what would happen there. That's kind of when the division gets stale, when someone clears it out like John Jones did, like Usman is doing. You kind of look at it and go, what do we do next, guys? Wonder Boy? No one wants to see Wonder Boy in there with Usman. And so you start getting, the division starts becoming very stale. So I don't want to see him fighting Covington because all you can do is potentially derail Chimaev or set up Usman Covington 3, which I don't want to see right about now. So I think Chimaev's going to win that fight. And
agreed.
Just for my own selfish entertainment purposes, I would also like him to win that fight.
Okay, well, I'll let Burns know.
Let him know.
And we'll see what the reaction is. But we ain't got long to wait for it. It's coming up soon. It's definitely a brilliant one. And he could be the next man, or he could be a Johnny Walker, like you said, where you think he's the next man and he ends up getting done. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, we'll move on to the next fight. And the next one is, here we go. We're covering the lot here. Kevin Croom versus Alan Tengeli. Alan Tengeli. Anyways, for UFC Fight Night on the 16th of April.
Mm.
So Croom's back. Didn't he get done last time?
He did, yeah. Did. I can't remember by who. I'm just going to look it up now. But yeah, it's
because he came in like at a short notice, unknown bloke and won, didn't he? And then I think it's only 2 he's had.
He lost against Brian Kelleher.
Oh yeah, boom.
It's his third UFC fight, but the first one was that real shame because he got that. He came in on short notice, didn't he? And he fought Roosevelt Roberts. He got that submission, and we said we both loved it because the
brilliant
illusion in his face and everything. You could just see that it was literally his dream literally came true, and it's really good. But then the contest was overturned. So he tested positive for marijuana afterwards, and which would have meant he also would have lost his performance of the night bonus. So it turned into a nightmare. But
exactly.
Since then
he's done a Diego Sanchez reverse version.
But since then he's lost to Caceres and Kelleher, which, to be honest, 2 decent fighters, right? But I think he's looked a bit sloppy in those fights. He's looked a bit sloppy. Let's leave it at that.
All right. Well,
so I'm going for Alan Tengeli.
Hang on, I'll let Croom know, but I need to hear the pronunciation of the name of the other bloke.
Well, his name is Haile Alatane, right?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Anik.
But that's what I believe his name is. But anyway, I'm gonna. That's who I'm going for.
I'm going for the Dream Breaker, Croom. Basically, I'm going opposite to everything you say, unless I really can't do it. All right. Well, that's that fight then. No point, mulling over it. Next one, Damir Hadzic versus Steve Garcia. That's also for this same card, UFC Fight Night. No, it's not. It's for the next card after it, 23rd of April.
Yeah.
Good luck doing chats about it.
What is this for the sort of like over 50s?
What's it called? Legacy League or something,
Yeah. Yeah. When Vitor Belfort wanted to do like a granddad fight league. So is that the launch? Is that the launch? Is it of that fight league? Yeah. Well, Hadzic, he beat your mate last time out, Medeiros. You really like Yancy Medeiros, so he beat him last time out. So you know what I mean. Obviously, took a few years.
He's one of my favourites. I love Yancy. He's brilliant.
Yeah. So
that means I have to go for Hadzic if I'm doing the fight pick, and that's all I'm doing because I don't know. You've just given me a bit of background, so thanks very much for the data there. Brilliant. That means he's going to do. What's about Garcia? Has he done anything? I mean, you can see he ain't done much.
Yeah,
from the shot anyway. That's
he's certainly not been doing many bench presses, but
not much, no.
But he shouldn't be if he's trained to be a fighter.
That's right, exactly right. Yeah, but you've got to still be strong. You've got to be able to push people off you and stuff. Right.
He's got a few names that you'll recognise on his record.
Go on, then it might help change my mind.
He's got a loss against Joe Warren, America's baddest man, or whatever it is.
Joe, that Bellator little fella.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Little
yeah, he's brilliant.
He's got a split decision loss to Ricky Tercios, who obviously won the Ultimate Fighter comeback series.
I like Tercios, yeah.
So he's got a split decision loss against him, so pretty good. He's UFC. He's 1-1 in the UFC.
Right.
He lost against the violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena.
What's happened to him?
He's all domestic abuse issues and stuff like that, I believe. No, I think he's in trouble with the law. Let's put it like that. I don't want to speak out of turn, but yeah, he's had some trouble with the law. I think. What exactly, I don't know. But yeah. So that's that.
All right.
Let's move on from that because I never feel.
Yeah, we don't chat about things we don't know nothing about. It's true though.
Yeah, exactly. So
don't know nothing about it. Yeah. Just wondered why he hadn't had a fight, but that does ring a bell.
Yeah,
all right. So
he has. It's just not.
I'm still going Hadders. I didn't hear what you said because you froze.
I said Pena has been having fights, just not inside the octagon.
Okay, it was probably just as well it froze. But, all right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm still going Hadzic.
Yeah, so am I.
Right. Next one. I mean, very, very powerful. Jake Collier versus Justin Tafa. That's been announced for the week after UFC Fight Night, 30th of April.
Mm.
I'm definitely going Tafa on this. I actually think he's all right.
I think Collier's all right. It's just he's fighting
so
about
do I, but not
three
this
weight
big
classes above where he should be.
Yeah.
He obviously had that good win over, what's his name? The Vanilla Gorilla or
Sherman.
Yeah.
Or Sherman. Yeah, one of my favourites. Yeah, he done it.
Right? Yeah. But
it is Vanilla Gorilla, isn't it? Yeah, I think something like that. No, or is that Cannonier?
He's not going to be the Vanilla Gorilla. No, it is Chase Sherman. I just checked. Yeah.
Well, what's Cannonier's nickname?
Hang on.
So they've got the same nickname, have they?
He's not called the Vanilla Gorilla, is he?
I think he might be.
The Killer Gorilla. He's
Yeah.
not called the Vanilla Gorilla. He's called Vanilla because he's, white and I assume blonde or blondish.
How do you know that's the reason? Was you mate or something?
Well, why else would he call the Vanilla Gorilla?
Well, I don't know. Ask him. I'll give him a shout in a minute. Yeah,
well, anyway,
ring him now. Invite him on the show.
He's. I'm going to go with Tafa as well, just because he's obviously massive. I'm going to say naturally, but he ain't, is he? I mean, it's not like he's shredded at that weight. But I think I'm going to go for Tafa as well. But honestly, I think he's actually all right. It's just, like I say, he's just fighting in the wrong weight class. It's plain and simple. But could go either way. Heavyweight smashing it can always go either way.
Well, I'm going Justin Tafa.
Nice one.
Brilliant. The new Mark Hunt. Yeah, I know. So you said, calm down. Well, I'm agreeing. I did say I weren't going to agree with anything, though, didn't I? All right, okay. All right, next fight. Because we've got quite a few to get through here, which is fine. But Gerald Meerschaert, he's the mate of, what's his name? Chimaev's mate, versus Christoph Jocko. Is Jocko chin up? Neck bloke?
Jocko is my least favourite fighter in the UFC.
Right, really? I mean, there's a lot.
Never mind Chukagan. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll just stick to Mal fighter. Yeah, okay.
No. I'm talking about out of all of them.
We've just seen that fight with Aspen Ladd and.
No, it's the AJ Aldrich and Gillian Robertson. That was a stinker.
Oh, there's a Ladd one coming up. Okay, Aldrich and Robertson. Yeah, you just seen that. And Jocko's still smashed out, is he?
Yeah, Jocko's my number one worst, which is crap, right? Because he's still wicked. He goes in there and as a fight, and he's not even that bad, but he is just. And but to be fair, he's fighting Meerschaert, who I actually do like.
So, I like him and all. Look, this one just because I didn't say. Sorry, this is UFC Fight Night, 30th of April. So that's what's been announced for. I like Meerschaert. I liked him before his last fight, but his last fight he was bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
I just can't remember who it's against, but it was good.
He always seems to find a way, doesn't he? Either to get finished or get the finish.
Goes in there, and yeah, exactly. And has a fight, right? He's brilliant.
Yeah, I like him as well. And he's on a 3-fight win streak. He obviously got banged out by Chimaev, but since then he's won 3 on the bounce, which honestly I do like because I don't know, I like that Meerschaert. There's something about him. He seems pretty relaxed, laid back, and all that sort of stuff. But he's never had a tougher test in his life than avoiding a decision with Jocko, because that is nigh on impossible. I'm going to go through. And it's not to say that anyone who goes to decisions, whether, is boring, because they ain't. Loads of our favourite fights are decisions. Loads of our favourite fighters take the long route as well, right? We ain't just into blokes that go in there and swing like they're in a, chucking out time in the pub. But let's just go through Jocko, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
These are his UFC. We'll just go through his victories, not his losses, because if he gets banged out, he doesn't deserve to. Right. So, win, decision. Win, decision, win, decision, win, decision, win, KO.
Yeah.
Yeah, against what was his name? Was it the Barn Cat or something? Tamden McCrory.
The Barn Cat?
Do you remember Tandem McCrory when he like that sort of geeky looking guy looked a little bit like Dustin Hazlett and people like that? When he called the Barn Cat.
Chase, what's Chase Hooper? That gizzer.
A bit like that. He's a bit like that. Yeah, that's it. The name, the Barn Cat. Yeah.
All right.
He was in it years ago. Yeah, he was in it years ago. Anyway, right, he got a knockout from him. Talis Latus, decision. Amadovsky, decision. Barrio, decision. Anders, decision. Serkinov, decision. Nah.
Plenty of wins there.
Yeah, there is plenty of wins, and that is not something to be disregarded lightly. But whenever I watch his fights, I always just go, no, I don't enjoy his fights. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, but let's be honest, though. This one might be good.
It might be.
Because of the other fella.
Yeah, Meerschaert don't, he doesn't agree going to decision. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll bring Jocko out of his shell a little bit. Maybe make him be a little bit more reckless than he's been in the past. Because I think he's just a bit safe, just, it's fine being safe and defensive fighter, but you can kind of just go that a little bit too far with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Well, look, I mean,
to be fair, he looks rock hard in that picture.
Yeah, he's a pretty good shot. They both look pretty good. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Both a good shot, right? But look, okay, so I'm going Gerald Meerschaert on that one.
I'm going Jocko.
What? Okay, what method?
KO.
For God's sake.
KO first round, quicker than Masvidal. No, I'm going for Jocko, but I'll go decision, obviously.
Obviously. All right. Next fight. This is obviously a powers one. Rob Font versus Marlon Chito Vera. UFC Fight Night. Same card, 30th of April. So it's shaping up. Good, this one, isn't it?
It is a really good one, yeah. But who are you going for?
Who am I going for? I wasn't into Rob Font. Can you tell me who he fought last? His last fight, he was brilliant. He fought someone Powers and Dunham.
Yeah.
And I thought well, if you're going to do one of my favourites, then you're either going to make me annoyed or you're going to make me realise that you're brilliant.
Well, he didn't do it.
I thought he was really good.
Maybe he lost. He didn't do it.
And okay, who did he last beat then?
Right. He was really good in the first round, and I thought he's probably going to win this fight. But then Aldo sort of, I want to say figured him out, but I won't even say dominated, but was the clear winner in the end. But
it's coming back to me now because I remember him afterwards going, I've come up against one of the greatest gizzards and I've got done. Okay, but who's the fight that I'm thinking of where I thought he was brilliant?
The two that you'll probably like, although to be fair, his last 4 wins are all really impressive. Cody Garbrandt, that's looking...
Well, there you go. He blazed Garbrandt. I mean, made him look like he didn't know how to fight. He was quite in that one. That's the one.
Yeah, that is the one, yeah. It was a decision, but yeah, he shut Garbrandt down completely. But
a bit like how Garbrandt shut Dominic Cruz down, that kind of thing. Just won it easy.
Moraes, you beat him.
I don't care about any of the others, right? I'm just saying that that point, that Garbrandt fight, I went, this guy is wicked. I think he's good.
No, I just wanted to say what a good little run he put together.
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah, Marlon Moraes. Well, I thought he gets done by everyone.
Well, he does now. He didn't back then.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's still powers, though. He's still powers. He'll still do you.
Ricky Simon.
Yeah, he's good. The mullet bloke.
Yeah, and Sergio Pettis.
Yeah, all powers. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, a really good little run he put together. Obviously came unstuck against Aldo because Aldo's the best.
He's the flipping best, man. You can never count that guy out. Who knows what's going to happen? He's brilliant.
And don't forget, Chito Vera. He's been having some good fights as well lately, right? So he lost to Song Yadong, but if I remember rightly, that was one of a really contested decision. It was one of those ones that I personally was fine going either way, but I do know a lot of people really thought Vera not got robbed, but definitely should have been the winner there. He then beat O'Malley.
Yeah.
Or not, injured, not injury, whatever.
Done him. Sorry.
Yeah, he still was in there and was the guy.
The injury was caused by him. It's one of them, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. He then lost to Jose Aldo on decision.
Yeah. Come on, Aldo. Brilliant.
But then he beat Davy Grant, who's definitely a really good.
Mint fight. That was quiet, wasn't it? That
and beat our boy Frankie Edgar last time out with that front kick.
Yeah. This is a brilliant fight. There's no way this is going to be crap. They're both real, both skills. I'm going Vera because I think he's a bit more non-run-of-the-mill varied. I think what Rob Font does is really good, really well trained. I can just see Vera, if it needs to do other stuff, whether it be kicking or, wriggling around and grappling, I can just see him edging it out with that stuff. I think they're both brilliant. Good fight. I'm going Vera's.
I think Vera's just got I don't know. I just get the impression that if there's a hard bit of the fight to get through, he'll be the guy that gets through it better. That's a very good point. He's definitely gritty, that's for sure. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's a guy who I just get the impression that, when they always say, you'll have to knock me out to stop me, or you have to kill me to stop me. He's a little bit, he is one of those guys you really do need to separate him from his senses to stop him. Otherwise,
who wants it more? It's down to the third round because it might be a main event. I didn't see that because it could be a fight night, so it could be a main event. But it'd be about who wants it more. There's only a few minutes to go and whatnot. And I'm going to go with Vera at that point.
Yeah.
If it gets to that, who knows? We'll see. Rob Font might bang him out straight away. Who knows? Anyway, that's a good fight announcement. A real good one. The next one. Oh, yes.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely fantastic. This is for UFC 274, so a pay-per-view on the 7th of May. We're on the 7th of May now. We've gone through March. We've gone through April. We're now on May fight announcements. Francisco Massaranduba Trinaldo, one of my favourites, versus Danny Roberts. English fella, right? British bloke.
That's right, yeah.
All right, brilliant. I like this fight. I'm going to have to go with a granddad here. Going to have to do it.
Yeah, well, must obviously be the second fight in the Grandad Fight League because kicking off with Hadzic and Trinaldo. Trinaldo following up. I'm not sure how old Trinaldo is, but if it's a day under 60, I'll be surprised.
No, he's the same as that Yoel Romero bloke. He's a non-age bloke. That's it.
He fights like he don't age. If anything, I'll say he's better now than he was when he first entered it.
And he should be, right? Because not should be, because if you get older, that can obviously make you rubbish and slower and etc. But he seems to be like his experience and stuff that comes with age seems to be coming out in him. I think he's brilliant. Let's go. Come on, Trinaldo, brilliant fighter.
Yeah, I really like him as well.
Hang on, he smashed out the other Ingers. The banger. I forgot his name again. The so-and-so banger. The Dan Hardy got the ump with Herb Dean.
Oh, Jai Herbert.
Didn't he do it? It was Trinaldo that done him, right? That done Jai Herbert, I think.
Let me check while you're...
Check that, right? That means he could be doing 2 Ingers in a row.
It won't be in a row because I think he's had a fight in between, hasn't he?
Oh, well, okay. Well, let's see. Who's the fight in between? It might be another Ingers. Could be 3 in a row.
No, he's had 2 fights in between. He's done a fair few Ingers. He's done. Let's go through them. He's done. I'll go through Massaranduba's UFC record, right?
The best.
Firstly, he's. I think he's about 17 and 7, something like that in the UFC. So he's had a lot of fights, 24 fights in the UFC.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's won. He's won a good, around 75% of them. He's won 3/4 of them, which is pretty good, right?
It's like me on Street Fighter. That's not bad.
He ain't bad at all, yeah. But I'll just pick out a few names of people he's fought. So he lost to Michael Chiesa. But he beat Norman Park, so he's not English, but he's a British fighter.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
Ross Pearson.
Yeah, Ingers.
He beat Yancy Medeiros.
Wow, the best. Hang on, he's Hawaiian, right? Yeah.
He's beat Paul Felder.
Wow, that's a good one, that.
He's beat Jim Miller.
Another, well, now that is really proved to be a brilliant one. Might be the Lyme disease version, though.
Might be, yeah, but doesn't matter. Still an impressive name to have.
Of course it is.
Beat Evan Dunham.
He used to be brilliant.
He beat Bobby Green.
All right. Well, we know what everyone thinks of Bobby Green now. They think he's brilliant.
Yeah. So
we've always said he's brilliant, but yeah.
Jai Herbert as well, another British guy. So yeah, he's got a really.
Oh, hang on. So was there anyone after Jai Herbert?
After Jai Herbert, he lost. Should I say, to Muslim Salikov, and then he beat Dwight Grant last time out, and he didn't look great beating Dwight Grant, I have to say. But you know,
Right.
Dwight Grant's one of those really awkward, gangly sort of fighters, so maybe that didn't help. But yeah, Muslim Salikov is really good, and he went to a decision with him. So yeah, I think he's really good. I would have to be picking Masaran Duba, I have to say, if I had to pick someone to win. So
same here. Danny Roberts saying ain't crap though. It's not about him being rubbish or anything like that. I actually think he's pretty good, but I can't go against Ronaldo. Sorry, granddad power, old man strength.
Yep,
that's it. Next fight is a good one as well. Good one, though. Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams.
He's a good one.
So you've got a real, you know, Randy Brown's a bit of an all-rounder, isn't he? A bit like, well, he's better than Aljo, but a little bit like him, that kind of thing. Long, bandy, does a bit of striking, seems to be pretty good at grappling. And then you've got Chaos Williams, who's absolute powers. So this is UFC 274 as well on the pay-per-view, 7th of May. So, yeah, good one. Another good one. I think these are both pretty good. I'm going. I know. I'll keep going first. I can't do it. You'll go first. Oh, give me any chance you like.
I think it's going to win.
Yeah, well, do whatever chance you want.
To me, this is one of those ones where I go, well, Randy Brown should win. Right? He's longer, leaner, snappy. He's on, a decent little run at the moment. He's only lost, I think, one of his last 4 or 5, and that was against Luque. So, I mean, everyone gets done by Luque at the moment. There's no shame in that. He seems like someone who used to watch, say, a fair few fights back and go, why isn't this guy good? Why is he not beating more people? Why isn't he relevant? He's got a wicked physique for it. He seems to have good, fast twitch muscles, nice and snappy. Why ain't he good? Why is he crap? Why does he end up getting knocked out by people and stuff like that?
He did, yeah.
And he got knocked out by Nico Price, didn't he, when Nico Price was grounded. But
off his back, that version. Was it that one?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But he seems to be putting it together a bit more now. He seems like he might have, like a little bit like Charles Oliveira. A little bit like, he had that, not quitting him, because I don't think Randy Brown's got any quitting him, but, he had that sort of thing of you're like, this guy's brilliant. Why is he shouldn't lose? And I think Randy Brown's figuring it out, and he's starting to fulfill his potential. But the problem is Chaos Williams he don't swing for Rose Ed, he swings for the car park.
Oh yeah, he's grit teeth. He don't mess about.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling he's going to clip Randy Brown and knock him out. Even though if someone said to me, whose skill set would you prefer going into this fight? If I could take on one of their skill sets, I'd rather put Randy Brown, thanks very much. Longer, rangier, sort of snappier, flows a bit better. I think Chaos has got that. He's got that big equalizer. I think that big equalizer ain't just going to equalize it. It's going to do more than equalize.
You've seen it happen. You've seen Randy Brown up against the fence trying to get away from the big swings, and just a little down here.
Yep.
Going all bandy, trying to counter with all bandy punches, and then it getting stopped on glove punches. We've seen it. Happen. Yeah, well... Yeah, well, look, I can't argue against it. You're absolutely right. That is a very possible outcome. Do you remember me saying I liked Randy Brown ages and ages ago? I can't remember. I think he was a Contender Series bloke. I'm not 100% sure about that. But he came into it, and I said, and we were doing picks at the time, and I said, no, I like this bloke. And my explanation why was I saw him at open workouts doing good skipping. And initially you went, what? That's the reason you think he's going to win, or he's good? And I said, yeah. And then you answered with, well, you've got to have a reason. It's the only reason you've got at the moment. You ain't seen him fight, or you don't know if he's good. And you have to have something. And that's what I had when I liked his skipping. Sorry. Brilliant. So I'm going with Randy Brown, skipping version.
Yeah, all right. I definitely think it's
but
one of those.
I think your outcome is more likely. So we'd have to see who the underdog is in this and go to ladders, I think.
I think Chaos Williams, I think, will be the favourite because he's obviously got a little bit of momentum behind him at the moment. He's got a few big finishes, so I think he'll be the favourite. It's one of those fights though where Randy Brown could sort of either out point strike him or catch him with a nice, real crisp sort of 1-2 or something, knock him out, and you'll kind of go, well, she was, long, lean, fast twitch and all that, and wicked skipping. Yeah. But
you've covered all bases. Don't worry, you're not going to be wrong. You can't be wrong because you've said everything about both blokes.
And I've covered all bases. Yeah, no matter what happens, I can go, well, I did say, I'm going Chaos Williams with sort of like a big left hook knockout or something like that. Like say on the fence, Randy Brown trying to circle off the cage and running into a big shot, whether it be a right hand or a left hook, something like that. That's why it's
only time will tell. Next fight. Now this. Right. Now, I'm sure you've got plenty to say about this. This is also on the same card. UFC 274 on the 7th of May. Chandler versus Ferguson. I mean, now, Ferguson's been getting done recently, as you well know. And we think he's brilliant, but we also think Chandler's brilliant. Always thought he was brilliant. Bellator as well. So this is a sort of fight where you could just go, I don't need to chat about this because Chandler is wicked. Don't matter that he's been done by whatever Poirier and Oliveira or whatever. He's still wicked. He still powers. But I tell you what, if there's a fight, a big name fight that Ferguson can win, it's easily this one. If Chandler don't stop with this looping business, if Hoof don't sort that out with him, you've got someone who's a straight down the pipe bloke here, Ferguson, against wild winging bloke. So Ferguson can win this, not easily, but this is a really good fight for him, and he can get back on his winning ways with this. But I still think Chandler's going to blast him out of there because he's powers. But anyway, I don't know. It's a difficult one. Good fight, though. Really exciting fight. Good one. But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. That I do think it's one that I always think that everyone has a shot against Chandler because he's so open and he's so aggressive. So there's no one that I ever watch. Even if they put him in with sort of a lightweight really far down the ladder, someone ranked 15th or 20th, I'd still go, I think they got a chance though, because Chandler's too aggressive, he comes into,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
pulls in behind the shot.
Yeah,
you can see him getting sort of pinged by anybody really on the right night. So Chandler's someone that my parlay or my accumulator was riding on a Chandler victory. I wouldn't be able to relax. I wouldn't be. It's not like, say, for example, John Jones, where you go, well, this guy, I'm pretty sure he ain't going to get banged out. At least, I know I've got 25 minutes for this bet to come good. Whereas Chandler, he's one of those guys where I'm like, I could see him getting pinged in the first exchange, in the first 5 seconds by Ferguson and getting knocked out. Like you, I don't think that's going to happen. My common sense tells me that Tony Ferguson's on a real bad stretch. He hasn't looked good in those defeats. Now, in those defeats, he's only been finished by Gaethje. Still got to the end against Dariush and Oliveira, right? So he still went the full distance. It's not like he got banged out cold. It's not like he's on the Marlon Moraes trajectory. But he looks slower than he looked before. He looks weaker. He doesn't seem to be able to impose his will on people like he used to be able to. Before, people still take him down stuff, but he'd cut him up with elbows. He'd march through him. He'd make him, be fighting for oxygen by the middle of round 2. It just don't seem that way anymore. People seem to be able to get enough damage on him or avoid his damage enough that those things aren't relevant anymore. Stuff like fatigue, cuts. They just don't seem to be relevant in these fights anymore. He's just stuck on his back. Doesn't seem to be able to get up off his back. He's old, his jits and stuff like that. Doesn't seem to have the same potency it had before. I don't know. I just feel that must mean something. I don't just think everybody's got that much better. I think it's more likely that Ferguson is coming down the slope a little bit now. And
possibly, all the hard fights are catching up with him. Who knows the reason, right? Bit of age, few injuries, tripping over cables, all sorts of things can happen to you.
Right, yeah.
Throughout your fight career. But I couldn't agree more that you're right. He hasn't looked great in those defeats, because you can still lose and still look good, but he didn't look very good in any of them. He obviously still wants to fight, because he ain't coming back against someone crap. He's coming back against ultimate power, and if he beats him, then he's back up there again or whatnot. But I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know. You're right. The aggression, the durability, the marching forward, a bit like Max Holloway, that kind of thing. He was always able to just eventually outwork that person. I don't know. I mean, this is UFC 274. I don't know what the main event is on this card, because that easily could be. So the reason I'm asking that is because, is this a 5-round fight? And does that matter? Does that favor one or the other? I don't know. 274. Do we know who the main event is on UFC 274?
Oliveira and Gaethje. So it's not going to be a 5-round.
Bloody hell! Right. Okay. So it's probably going to be a 3-rounder. I don't know. You'd say that Chandler's power's wrestling, so if he needs to, he'll lay on him. But then you'll say that Ferguson's got brilliant jits, but like you said, we haven't really seen this 10th planet omoplata jits for a while off his back, or like you said, cutting him up with elbows and stuff. But Chandler ain't a lay on wrestling bloke. He ain't. He's a smash. He has a smash, and he's got the powers to smash him out. And has Ferguson got the durability? But I do think that Ferguson has the better, more traditional slipping and hitting boxing. I think his punches are way better. He's longer. He ain't T-Rex. He even though he does get hit a lot, the reason he gets hit a lot, or one of the reasons he gets hit a lot, is because he moves so much. You might go, well, he moves so much. Why is he getting hit a lot? It's just because that movement is erratic. But a lot of the times on this kind of stuff, he is slipping and smashing them down the pipe. It is very, very winnable fight for him.
Yeah, I fear that, well, firstly, Ferguson, in that stretch where he's obviously lost against top guys, right? But the Gaethje fight was the one, because even though Oliveira dominated him, he kind of just kept him on his back for 3 rounds. The Gaethje one was one where it seemed like, not that his spirit was broken, but his body got broken in the end. I think I said to you at the time, I think Gaethje lands something like a jab, and you can see that Ferguson hasn't quit, but his body kind of took paces backwards. You can see probably in his head, he was like, what are you doing? You're going the wrong way. But his body kind of went, no, this is enough now, man. What the hell are you doing? I've been absolutely smashed for 5 rounds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe once you're smashed to that degree, people say, don't they, you lose a bit of yourself in there and stuff like that. And I would have thought that, okay, I can...
Those fights take their toll, those...
Yeah, exactly. And they should do, right? It must be like being in a traumatic car accident or something. And I think that the Dariush fight was the one that was the eye-opener for me, because that was a fight that I would have still picked him to win. I'd have gone, nah, Dariush, susceptible gas tank. He gets to the end of fights, but he doesn't half start looking sloppy around the middle of round 2. And I just thought to myself, this is made for Ferguson. Someone like that.
Yeah.
He'll probably have to go through a little bit of hellfire in the first round from Dariush, but he'll start to take over round 2 and probably end up cutting him to ribbons and stuff like that in round 3. I just don't think he's got that anymore. And so, but honestly, do you remember the other day when we had ATP in ATP Good in Ladbrokes, the betting shop? We had AEP to our name randomly. And so we thought, and we thought we'd put some money on Bobby Green versus Makachev. To me, if we've got ATP in the betting shop again around UFC 274, I'm bugging it on Ferguson, because he's going to be a big underdog. And I really do think exactly what you said, it's winnable. I think Chandler's fallen in love with his power too much, and he's become too wild, too swingy, too single-minded, too easy to read, too easy to gauge what he's going to do, too easy to know his game plan. And if Ferguson's got enough about him left, enough up here and enough in here, I think he might do Chandler. You know what? I'm going to go Ferguson. I ain't going to be boring and do a Chandler. I'm going Ferguson.
Well, yeah. I'm going to as well. I love Chandler.
Oh, are you? I'll go Chandler then. I only pick Ferguson.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, well, that's the new agreement. But I do think that I will go with Ferguson on it. It's just that Chandler, he seems to be hell bent on. I'm just going to go in here and smash this guy out in the first round. He just piles into him and canes them. It's not that he can't handle the fight's going longer, because he can. You've seen he's easy got the cardio for it, right? He carries on to fight after that don't work, but he don't then go, I'll try this instead. He's like, that ain't worked. I need to get a bit of energy back now, and now I've got a smashed in face where I'm taking damage as well. Give me a minute, and I'm just going to do that again. It's like, it seems to be like his only move now. It's like, well, hang on, I couldn't smash you out in the first round. I'll smash you out in the second. That didn't work. All right, well, let's go for it in the third, and then sometimes the fourth and fifth. So Ferguson just needs to be, and he definitely can be, elusive, stay away. He's got longer reach, or it seems that he's got a longer reach, even if he hasn't actually got a longer reach. And, I think he can do it. If I was him and he's camp, we'd be telling him how to figure this out. And if I was hoofed, I'd be going, listen, Chandler, just calm down a bit. You've got some other weapons. And I bet he does say all that stuff, but he don't care. He just smashes. So Ferguson.
All right.
Next fight announcement. Look, it was going well, right? The 274 stuff was going well. We've got Trinaldo. Fantastic, right? We've got an Ingers, Danny Roberts. We've had Chandler and Ferguson. Geez, we've got Randy Brown, Chaos Williams. It's been going so well. But still, UFC 274, the fight announcements, another one's been added. 7th of May. Here we go. We're in. Tracy Cortez versus Melissa Gatto. I'm going Melissa Gatto, and I'm happy to move on. You now dictate where this podcast goes.
I'm going to say Gatto as well next.
Right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. That's that. Next fight, then.
We're running short on time. Next.
Exactly. Oh, hang on. Hold on. Hold on. This is quite good, though, because it means we're going to start to speed things up a little bit. This is the next card. It's UFC Fight Night on the 4th of June. So we're now in June. And this has been announced. Cynthia Calvillo versus Brianna Fortino. Look, I don't know if I do know Brianna Fortino or not. I can't remember her. But Calvillo, just, I'm gonna take a pick. Even though Calvillo has been not very good and not lived up to her potential, if you like, or whatever, or the hype that was surrounding her, I'm looking at the shot of Fortino, and I'm going to go off that. Unless you can tell me otherwise, you're wrong. She won this fight and that fight. So at the moment, I'm going Calvillo, and I'm ready to move on when you are.
Well, Fortino's 1-1, but her last time out, she lost a decision against Tisha Torres, who we do think's pretty good, right?
She is good, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not bad at all. Calvillo's on a 3-fight skid. She got stopped last time out, right? But I think it was in the corner.
You say Calvillo's got skids?
No, but she's on a skid. She might have skids because if she don't win this one, she's definitely going to stay in the office. But I think she lost last time out, and she gets stopped in the corner, and she didn't really put up much of a. I remember looking at it going, she could carry on, but when they stopped it, she looked a little bit like, yeah, fine, bad enough for this. She's really fallen off a cliff. As you say, she kind of had quite a big, not reputation, but she kind of earned it because she came in and had a couple of good submission victories. And I think people were understandably, a little bit excited, thinking, "Oh, we've got a new contender here." Since then, she just
not panned out, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of got a bit rocky for her. I'm going to go for Fortino, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad that's all there is to it. Enough's enough. Right, next fight. Powers. Well, I mean, one of them's Powers. As a matter of fact, I think this Talia Santos is actually all right. It's Valentina Shevchenko versus Talia Santos. That's UFC 275, 11th of June. There you go, title fight. What are you saying?
Wow. Valentina Shevchenko was born on the same day as me. All right, anyway.
Okay, and she's on the card 275. Those numbers are also in there.
What numbers?
277. No, they ain't. Okay. Well, that's just because I tried to make that work, but it didn't. Okay, don't worry about that bit.
And I was going to say,
edit that out, producer. Right. Anyway, look. Are we just gonna? Is this just gonna be another one of those things? Don't even bother chatting about Santos because Shevchenko is gonna walk through her and it's pointless. Because the only reason she's getting the fight is because there's nobody else. Is it one of them? Because can you just tell me Santos is? I just need the last few fights. I think she's quite good.
Yeah, I think she's quite good as well. She's got a really good record, 19 victories from 20 fights. Right, so just a single lone loss, and that was by decision. For a female fight, she's got 10 knockouts, so she's got 50% KO ratio, which is really impressive. Few submissions in there as well. Last few fights, she beat Molly McCann, she beat Gillian Robertson, she beat Roxanne Modafferi, and she beat Joanne Wood, formerly known as Calderwood. That's silly, isn't it? Marrying someone and having your name just taken off the court.
I just wouldn't do it.
Just forget it. Yeah, I'd have just gone Calderwood. But anyway, she has lost in the UFC to Mara Barella. Look, I'll be lying if I could tell you who Mara Barella is. All I can tell you
I think she
is
might be
Mara
right.
Barella she's not in it anymore because she's lost the last 4.
What who did she get done by?
Lauren Murphy, Montana De La Rosa, Courtney Casey, and Maria Buena Silva. So it's not, and she also lost to Chukagan. In fact, she only got 2 victories in the UFC, and one of them was against Talia Santos. So that kind of
Santos got done by someone scat. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that kind of is a little bit worrying, but you never know, do you, what happened in that fight? I can't really remember it, so I can't say, well, she battered her first round and just, a gas tank. I can't tell you what happened. But look, you have to go with Shevchenko. Just, the track record is too much to ignore, right?
The body of work.
Exactly, yeah, it's true, right? And so it's hard to pick against her. But I don't get this impression with Shevchenko that she's, this invincible fighter. Like you kind of get with, or you kind of had with John Jones for a bit. I don't get that she's invincible, even though she has been so dominant. I always kind of look at her fights and go, yeah, but I just feel like someone someday is going to, I don't know, just have the, have the antidote to this.
She's had a few fights now where she's won easily, as in points, score, sport, easily won. But she ain't done much. Nothing's really happened. Yeah, she kicked Jessica I's head off. But I'm saying she's had a few fights now where you kind of go, all right, you won and you definitely won. There's no question, but you ain't shown much, So I think you're right, but I should probably do Santos, and that's that.
Well, I'm happy to move on. I'll pick Shevchenko as well. Like I say, you can't ignore the body of work, can you? Really?
That's it. Next fight, then. This is also on UFC 275. And let me just get rid of that. And it's another real, just one to write home about. Silvana Gomez Juarez versus Na Liang. UFC 275, 11th of June. Maybe whoever wins this gets the next title shot. Is that why they're on it? Anyway, that's the next announcement. I can't say much else. Now, I know we've had a chat about Silvana Gomez Juarez before because I just know that we've had a chat about her before. But I don't know. It would just be because she was on one of the cards we chatted about. But anyway, there you go. Again, I'm happy to move on. If I have to pick someone for the sake of picking someone, I'll do it. I'm going with Juarez. And you enjoy yourself and let me know what you want to say. I'm all ears.
Well, I'll go with Juarez again, but I've got literally no reason other than, I've got no reason. In fact, I'll pick Liang just to give me some element of interest when this fight actually happens.
Yeah, see if you can do me and go, oh, you're wrong. I done you. Yeah. I don't blame you. All right, this is the last fight. It hasn't been left last for any reason because it's the same. UFC 275, 11th of June. Just as well could have been Gomez Juarez and Na Liang, but it weren't. This is Powers. UFC 275, 11th of June. Fantastic. Let's go. Double brilliant. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Good one. The right fight, the right matchup, if you like. two blokes who can't do Adesanya, if you want to put it like that.
Oh, it depends on, some people do think Whittaker done Adesanya last time out, don't they?
They do, but he didn't. So that's that.
Right. Well, that's fair enough.
No, not because I didn't think he won or anything like that. Just because he didn't. On the history book showed that he didn't. So that's that.
I mean, I'd like to see the middleweight rankings just to see what other options were out there. I guess.
Well, would you?
Well, not that much. No, I can't say that I'm desperate to. But if you look at Whittaker,
well, what was it? Cannonier, Brunson, and all that, isn't it? It's that business.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. But if you take Adesanya out of the mix, he hasn't lost to, I think. Oh no, that was his middleweight day. So he hasn't lost at middleweight, full stop, other than to Adesanya, which is really impressive. And he hasn't lost at middleweight to anyone other than Adesanya, obviously, since he's been there, which was 2014. So he's been there he's undefeated at middleweight for sort of just shy of 8 years by the time this fight comes around. In that time, he's beaten, I'll go through all of them, I might as well, won't take too long. He's beat Clint Hester, who I actually used to think was all right.
Yeah, my fighter bloke, I thought he was quite good and all.
Yeah, that's right. Brad Tavares, who we really rate. Uriah Hall, who's always sort of there or thereabouts in the top 10, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rafael Natal, Derek Brunson.
Yeah, done him.
Twice against Romero, Darren Till, Jared Cannonier, Kelvin Gastelum. You look at that and go, well, who else has he got to beat, really, other than Adesanya? I mean, I don't know the middleweight rankings off the top of my head. Maybe I do need to look them up. There's not really much else out there for him, is there, at that weight class?
No, I don't think there is. So,
And obviously, Vettori's stock is really high because I think most people didn't really like Vettori. But because
did he do some step-in last-minute business and everyone?
Yeah, it's because of the way Paulo Costa behaved in their fight.
That's right, the overweight version.
And he still took the fight and still won the fight and still didn't back down in the fight. And I think a lot of people gained a lot of respect for him from that. Because I think he was someone that a lot of people kind of thought he was a bit of a knobhead. That kind of made.
We tried to tell everyone. We liked him. The Italian dream.
So, yeah, I don't really see what else there is for Whittaker. I'll tell you now quickly the middleweight rankings. Cannonier, he's obviously beaten. Vettori, he's who he's matched up against. Paulo Costa, could have been him, but obviously he's coming off a loss. And he's also, his stock's pretty low at the moment because of the way he behaved. And he's getting his hair transplanted. Derek Brunson, he's beaten him. Then I'd argue Sean Strickland might have been an interesting fight.
Yeah, but not more interesting or more of a better matchup or the right matchup than Vettori, if you know what I mean.
Correct, yeah. To me, they're pretty much on a par. So really good matchup. I expect Robert Whittaker to be too smart for Vettori.
I think I agree with that. I think Vettori's good. He's the bull, if you like, charging in. Don't care about getting punched in the head. He does tend to wrestle quite a bit, but I think Whittaker's brilliant at what's it called, defensive wrestling or whatnot. He's not probably ain't going to be there to be wrestled. So yeah, I agree, Whittaker. So
I really don't think there's that much to analyze in that fight. I just think it's going to be Whittaker's just going to be one step ahead in all facets of the game.
It's just faster, more elusive. He moves around a lot. He's got better kicks. He's got better combinations.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just that slight bit. There's not anything that if Vettori had that sort of Chaos Williams power, I might go, yeah, but if he can land a glove on Whittaker or land on him early, it might change that. He's not that kind of explosive, concussive hitter. So I just think that it is going to come down to everything you just mentioned, right? A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clinch work, a little bit of grappling, a little bit of striking, a little bit of kicking. I just think Whittaker's just that slight bit above.
And he's also, as you said, very. It's not to say that. I'm not saying Vettori's tick. But like you said, in the cage, Whittaker seems to have a very good attention span. Very good, focus. Very good focus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
and he ain't got
a decision or a late stoppage.
Yeah, he's not got that much to worry about with Vettori. He's just got to, worry about what he's got to worry about and stay focused. And I think he can probably handle it. So, but Vettori's, he's qual. He's definitely good, without a doubt. Who would you say has given Adesanya the harder fight? Whittaker? He's had 2, or Vettori? Both had 2, right?
Vettori's had 2 as well. Yeah,
both had 2. Yeah.
Vettori...
So who got close? It doesn't matter. They're very different fighters. Adesanya and Whittaker, Adesanya and Vettori are different fighters. It doesn't make any difference to this matchup. But considering Adesanya's the champ, which one of those 2 in the first Whittaker fight is a pretty bad one? But which one of them has given him the hardest fight? Who's closest to winning?
Well, that's the thing, right? Whittaker's been smashed by Adesanya. Vettori, I've never seen smashed by anybody. I've seen him in a
decision. First one, was it?
Yeah, it was a decision. It was one that was very close. It was one that could have kind of gone either way, a lot more so than the rematch.
But that was a 3-rounder, the first one, agreed?
Yeah,
before Adesanya was a champ.
The first Vettori one against Adesanya was a 3-round fight before Adesanya was champ. Before I think even Adesanya was, real sort of. It wasn't like a title contender fight or anything like that. It was a bit before successful as he is now. He went on a good little run after, and so yeah. But what I would say is that Whittaker done bad and then improved massively second time round, whereas Vettori kind of done really good first time round and kind of dropped second time round.
Yeah.
What does that say? Does that say something about their fight IQs maybe, or their skills?
Adesanya's got better
before, or Adesanya's better and styles make fights. I don't know, but I would say who came closest to winning. I'd say probably the Vettori first Vettori Adesanya fight was the closest. Then second Whittaker, then third Vettori, then the blowout. Yeah, the first blowout. But yeah, I just don't see anybody other than Whittaker winning. That's one that I would not be confident, because I'd never be confident in a fight. There's always anything can happen, but that would be one that if someone said to me, "You got to put your house on one of these results," out of all the ones you've asked me today, even maybe Whittaker would be the one that I'll put my house on.
I'm just going to check if there's anything else. No, it looks like you're right, really. The rest of them are, we've said Font and Vera, don't know. Randy Brown, Chaos Williams, Chandler, Ferguson. You're right. These are all tight fights, Okay, Shevchenko, probably the house one.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Probably, right, but,
that's more to do with the fact that obviously I know a lot more about Vettori and rate Vettori a lot more than I do maybe Santos. But,
exactly. You can do a better job in yourself of analysing the fight and giving yourself reasons as to why you pick one over the other. Whereas the other one, you're going, I don't know why I picked Santos. You gave us some reasons, right? You said she'd won 19 fights, she's had loads of knockouts and some submissions, which means she's obviously decent, but they're not things that are in your mind. These are all the Adesanya stuff, because he's so current and he fights so regular. You know what's going on, and you remember Vettori, you remember Whittaker. You know what's happening, don't you? They're all. So yeah, I understand why you went what you went with, and I can't argue with it, and I'm not going to argue with it. Good. But what I am going to say is that's the fight announcements, and that's it. They're done. That's week commencing 7th of March to today, which is the 14th. So that's just 1 week of fight announcements that we've picked up on. I'm sure there's more, and there will be more all the time, but we'll try and do it once a week and discuss them. That's it.
Exciting stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, extremely. Thanks very much. And that's it. Yeah, all right, yeah, that's it. Brilliant. See you later. Nice one, mate.